Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of My EdTech Life. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful day, and wherever it is that you're joining us from around the world. Thank you, as always, for all of your support. We appreciate all the likes, the shares, the follows. Thank you so much for engaging and sharing our content and for the amazing feedback. We really appreciate it. As you know, we do what we do for you, but we wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for our amazing sponsors. So I definitely want to give them a big shout out. So want to give a big shout out to Book Creator, EduAid, Yellow Dig, and Peelback Education. Thank you so much for believing in our mission to bring these amazing conversations into our space so we can continue to grow together professionally and personally as educators. And today I am really excited because I have a distant friend that is joining us today. And by distant, we mean, oh, just a little hop and a skip over a little pond. But I would love to welcome to the show Sean McLaughlin. Sean, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I have France. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm across the pond, aren't I? Have you ever had anyone on from the UK?
Yeah, I've had actually. I think I've had a couple of people. I'm sure you're familiar with Abid. I'm sure maybe Darren
Oh
also, and
yeah, yeah.
Darren and Ben. They've been on the show too as
Oh,
well.
plenty then.
Yeah, and
Plenty,
oh, and
yeah.
John Neal also. He's been on the show. So yeah,
Oh yes. Some awesome EdTech people there. Yeah, and some real
yeah. But
leaders.
hey, but today I get the honor and privilege of finally connecting with you. I mean, I know you and I on LinkedIn have followed each other for a very, very long time. And I know that at least our podcasting paths have not crossed, but thank you so much for reaching out. And I'm excited that we can make this conversation and schedule it, and so I'm excited to dive in and talk about all the great work that you are doing in the UK and all the great work that you're doing with the Adobe for Education team as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. But Sean, before we get into that, for our audience members that are hearing this episode and have not connected with you yet or are not familiar with your work just yet, can you give us a little introduction and what your context is within the education space?
Yes, so I'm currently at Adobe for Express Education in the UK, and I'm leading on the UK community and partnerships. So, and yes, I'm out there connecting with schools, creating content to engage their learners, but also, yeah, trying to draw in aligned brand partners who align with the great work we're already doing. And yeah, so yeah, I'm here for it, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited about that. And so let's talk about a little bit about this. Now I know here, a lot of educators, we are huge fans of course, Adobe Express and anything that is Adobe for Education. And so I want to ask you, how recent your work there in the UK? Is this something that just came up recently? Is this something that, has been going on for a while and now we've got a team and now you're ready to hit the ground and you're visiting schools and bringing that creativity to the classroom?
No, to be honest, I mean, I've only been in this role since September. I've been studying, I started studying a degree in education actually, and yeah, I wanted to give you a big shout out for your recent studies and your doctorate. You achieved amazing, and you've been such an inspiration. And yeah, and all the different tools you were using as well. But yeah, no, I connected with Adobe back in the Spark days, and that's probably where I see you and Claudia and other folk like that. And also the global team really, and a lot of the global team from say Flipgrid and other places, and yeah, we've got some great people now in the global team like Anne and Joey, haven't we? And yeah, so in the UK, it's just been ticking along really. We're huge in some of our other nations, so Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. So people like Meredith, Meredith in Wales, and Dom Trainer, he's kind of like,
Yeah.
and me. So yeah, we've just been kind of like ticking over really. And just recently, yeah, Jen reached out to a few of us in the UK, a few of us who are leading the EdTech space, and we've just gone, Adobe is an amazing tool. Adobe Express is an amazing tool. It's scaffolded, it guides learners, it brings creativity in your classroom. The community is just an awe-inspiring space. everyone's a leader. It doesn't matter who you are, you're a leader. And yeah, so we just gone wild. And Jennifer King, our lead the other day, said one of the feedbacks she got at a conference the other day was, "Your team, you're everywhere. What's going on?" And that was our goal. Yeah, to put us firmly back on the map. And I've done that really in part with the help of the global team, because I was thinking back to the days of when, we were on flip calls, and, there's screenshot with all the faces. And I thought that, in those days, people showed up, they showed up and they were part of, and yeah, I've really tried to replicate that in a bit here in the UK. And it seems to be working. So the goal is parachute all that positivity on the UK, and it's fixing.
That's great. And that's so great to hear because, I think that Adobe and what they have created with Adobe Express, and as far back as I knew when it was like Spark, and then just kind of like building up this great platform, has done such an amazing job at really putting together something that is can really be your one-stop shop creative tool for the classroom, for students, for teachers. And I mean, you can really find a little bit of everything in there that can be done. And that I think is something that is very important. And I'm sure that now in the UK, obviously the work that you're doing and along with your team, and like you said, really being everywhere, I think, and bringing that awareness, I think that that is huge because oftentimes it's you don't know what you don't know. And then until somebody puts it in front of you, and then you see, like, oh my gosh, is it really that easy? And I have always been in the mindset that when I go and train educators, I want them to be, I say, like, I want you to express your own creativity. Like, I want you to be the student and go through this and enjoy it and, take ownership of this first because the way that you feel when you are creating something, we want the students to feel that way and that impact of being able to bring something from nothing or at least from a thought and bring it onto a digital canvas that can be edited in many ways. And I think for educators, I think that's something that is huge. So tell me a little bit more. Like, I know you're located, you said, in the south of the UK. So I want to know, like, right now, where is it that you are currently doing the work and that you're expanding and, making sure that Adobe Express is something that people are being aware or made aware of?
Yeah, so we've really grown the. I mean, we just got in the UK now 26 ACE innovators. So yeah, all newly signed up, and we've got photo case studies in schools, and yeah, we're presenting those case studies. We're starting to show up at events, like we're at the Schools and Academies show the other day. Shell McConville was over actually. It was really awesome to connect with her and do some exciting stuff at the show. Where else am I showing up? We did an amazing event the other week at Manchester United Football Club for their outreach team. And all football clubs in the UK have like an outreach team, and they go into schools, underprivileged schools. So we took like 300 year six, and I'm not sure what that's say in the UK, year 6 to 7 digital school leader females, gals, through this through the guided activity of design your own design your own like trainer. So yeah, we actually were doing tables of 6 at a time, and even in a crowded room, that the fact that was so scaffolded and guided, we were just taking them all through it, and then yeah, that was incredible. And then I'm trying to bring in, say, partnerships. So I'm trying to work with the BBC. I've been connecting with them because they host live lessons. I've been connecting with Tess. Some of the folk in the UK might have heard Text. It was Times Higher Education, and then it became Tess, and it was huge in the UK. And then also trying to bring in just all different voices. Like I'm working with UK Motorsport, and they have a diversity program in STEM, and they're trying to get more women and diverse voices into UK Motorsport and Premier League. Yeah, it's huge. It's just so many exciting things going on. And yeah, and even more exciting is there's a real connectivity with the global team around this as well, really sort of chatting within sort of internal channels about what's working. And a lot of our team are going over to San Jose in a few weeks. I was due to, but they've slimmed the team down. Wow, yeah, so yeah, so it's just incredible, really exciting time to be part of. And I think tracking back on what you were saying around sort of getting out there and evangelizing, I mean, that's a fab thing. I love EdTech, but when someone said to me, I think it was Alyssa from Book Creator, our old friend Forbes,
Yes.
and she goes, "You've got a free tool you can evangelize," and that is great, isn't it? Adobe Express is free for education, so I can just shout out about how good it is. And then another thing is just with all the AI and the AI, I
Mm.
feel like it's a bit of a bubble. And it's like, what's the purpose? What's the meaning behind all this? And so, yeah, I really see that within those guided activities and the animate character, AI with purpose, using it for purpose to give students voice and choice. So,
One of the things that you hit on right there is I absolutely love what you said there, at least using the newest technology that is out there, obviously talking about generative AI, but using it thoughtfully and using it in a way that is very useful and purposeful. I think that that is something that is great because oftentimes that we know that there are so many platforms that are out there that are offering, at least some sort of either a bot or offering some sort of just a generative process. But sometimes it just kind of feels a little disconnected from what it is that you're doing at that given time. But I think with building with purpose is something that is great. And that's something that for sure I have seen Adobe do through Adobe Express. Now, I just wanted to kind of go back a little bit when you went through the outreach team and you were doing that activity. And you mentioned something that I really like, even with through the learning activity, that the guided learning, it is still scaffolded. So I want to ask you, for those teachers that are listening and the teachers that are listening in the UK, and you gave that example, can you go a little bit more in detail as far as the learning activity, maybe what you saw as far as because I can imagine going in there and you have people at all different levels, at least either with technology or even just with design. But to be able to do something like this and then come up with a product, how exciting was that? And then just to be able to see kind of like those light bulb moments. So tell me a little bit about how that was.
yeah, and actually, it was just so easy. So, like with EdTech and even sort of with the AI, I mean, like, there's all these great tools, but in my experience as a coach, as a trainer, just getting teachers to use sort of EdTech alone sort of stuff, it's a challenge, and it definitely takes coaching. But so yeah, all these these schoolgirls got down and just quite simply opened up Adobe Express, and on the side of the guided activity is some video instructions with some words as well. And then, once they got warmed up, some of them were just flying, creating things, really going with the ideas. Some of them just needed some hints from they had their football coaches with them and myself, and just giving them a bit of encouragement. And then they were just going through it. And some of them then were, just creating things, just going elsewhere and starting to use the Gen AI and different things. So yeah, so it was just amazing to see. And yeah, really enforced how just simple, as a teacher, if you want to use some ed tech and you want just your student, just give it to your students. And so this sort of ties into the scaffolding and child-led play, because I used to be a forest school teacher, and so we used to just say, give the students, knives to whittle away at a piece of wood. That's pretty could be a tricky sort of thing to do, but we used to scaffold them. Say, right, make sure you do it away from your body, and I really see that within, that guided activity. It's just got a few the prompts that's already there. They just adjust it a little bit, watch the videos, and they've really got that scaffold. But then their creativity can shine, their imagination can shine, and yeah, it's really wonderful to see actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think that that's also just a great tool, even just for the teacher themselves, Sean. And I don't know, you would agree. I mean, being in the classroom and working with teachers alongside them, I think oftentimes they just feel very overwhelmed, obviously, with the amount of platforms that are out there that maybe they are already using, because some of them may be using us content specific platforms for math, for their reading, for science, social studies. And then sometimes they may feel like, oh, great. Another thing. But I think that one of the things that I know I loved is, when we had our our ACE conference here in our district. We actually we had some people come in from our district, and then Adobe sponsored the event, and it was just fantastic. Was the fact that teachers were able to use those guided activities also as well to learn the process. And I think that's something that's fantastic, that I think is maybe sometimes overlooked and maybe underutilized, but that is such a great tool for a teacher or somebody that might not feel comfortable to look at. And the videos aren't that long. And so what I like is that after you're done looking at that and watching it and then creating your own thing, you build that confidence, and now you're able to present it to the students confidently because you've already gone through it. And it kind of reminds me of when I was in the classroom, and obviously we didn't have an awesome platform like that, but the my first class of the morning, we would kind of go through our lesson, and then my students would say, "Oh, check this out. Look at what I found here, Mr. Mendoza." And then in my second class, I'd say, "Well, okay, guys, let me show you a little something here." And then by the end of the day, I felt like the expert, but it was because I learned all from my students. So, but it built up that confidence, not only in myself, but also in sharing the tools with the students. And I think that's something that is great, that you can go in there, not maybe not saying, "Hey, I'm not a digital designer. I am no way, shape, or form have any kind of graphics design studies at all." But you can go in there and in a matter of minutes, you can create something. And I think that that's something that is huge, especially being able to implement that into the curriculum.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the platform's currently set up like that, isn't it? I mean, you've got it slightly different in the US. You've got create, teach, edit. I think we're just create and edit at the moment. But both of those are just little tiles, no experience needed. Just click on create or click on, edit, and without any design skills or experience, you can just go get going. And yeah, you're talking about the learn tab or even the learn and the guided activity. Yeah, 100%. If I've ever got a demo for demo, I'm in there, having a couple of guys at the guided activities. And also, I can remember with my onboarding, I went through the Learn tab to become an ACE leader. And yeah, it was literally just one video with one of the program managers. And next thing you know, I'm in the Adobe ACE leader community. Now, in the UK, and me and Nicole, my colleague, have been talking about sort of the word leader, like, am I a leader? But yeah, we just want people to sort of say, yeah, you are. You're getting involved. It doesn't. There's no prerequisites. You're a leader. You're creating in your classrooms, and yeah, once you sort of then get into that community, you start learning and sharing and growing really. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that that is a huge component too as well, which is community. And community by far, is a great way for educators as well to not only feel like they're part of something, but also that they feel heard, they are around like-minded individuals. And I think that Adobe has one of the best learning communities that is out there too as well. And again, I may sound biased, but this is my experience. This is me
Yeah.
just telling you and being
Yeah.
honest, that this has probably been one of the best communities that I have been able to be a part of, because, like Sean mentioned, you really do feel like a leader. Yes, I mean, everybody feels like a leader. Nobody feels like, "Oh man, I can't do that," or "I can't do that." Honestly, like, everybody feels like you're empowered, that you can do it, and everybody comes at it through a different lens. And I think one of the things that Adobe has done very well is obviously listen to the educators, especially the innovators that are out there sharing, the teachers that are out there in the classrooms, and being able to take that feedback and be able to see how this product has changed, and it will continue to change to adapt to the needs. But let's talk about that as far as community,
Mm.
because I know that this is something through you, through partnerships that you're building. but this is something that is growing also in the UK. So what are some of the things, I know you mentioned some of the events, but what other things might you all be doing to continue to grow the community there in the UK?
Yeah, so I mean, firstly, like funds. I know you're a big fan of the community, and I was seeing you on the socials and different things, and yeah, and also, folks, Fonz is he's been in the ed tech all the circles. So yeah, hearing you sort of reflect on how you honestly feel about sort of that the Adobe community is wonderful to hear, and yeah, I definitely feel the same. And yeah, we want to kind of replicate a bit what some of the US. So in the US currently, it seems like they go out a lot to events, host events for US teachers. Now in the UK, teachers are still happy to show up just virtually. At the end of a school day, kids running around, just sort of yeah, get involved. But we always shout them up, shout them out, praise them, lift them up, encourage them, mentor them. Even on the side, we're mentoring people, just building them up, and that kind of comes from, say, some of our experiences of being in the ed tech world and just, being really drained by, say, companies say, but yeah, we're now on the other side and we're like, yeah, we want to mentor and help people and support them. And then, yeah, we're also planning some in-person events. So I know Don and my colleague Ruth were up in Edinburgh, and they put on a huge event the other day, and they had all the teachers in and just giving them loads of food and swag, and just yeah, hearing from them and learning from them. And the same, we had an event partner with Apple the other day at Battersea, where Apple's headquarters. So yeah, we're just doing all the things and trying to yeah, really just build a community. And then we're also thinking of having some in person in Adobe Old Street, London. Now that is an awesome office. We did our Q4 on site. It was my first time there, and yeah, it was a really, really such an encouraging place to be. So, yeah, we've got all the plans, but it's all around community first. And I think when I signed up for this, one of the things I was discussing with the team, that I would definitely I'm not the hero of the story. The people I'm going to be supporting are the heroes, and yeah, I really want to shout them out and praise them. So yeah, that's kind of how we're rolling.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's great that just to be out there. Now, I want to ask you because I know you said, this is kind of something that is gaining traction and gaining, a lot of steam with educators out there. Just out of curiosity, what has been maybe I guess either a misconception or a misunderstanding that has been overcome once we've been able to put Adobe Express in front of them? Did they have just I don't know, maybe what was their thoughts about Adobe prior? Would they? I know when I first would hear Adobe, I would always just focus, well, that's Photoshop, and that's really that's very difficult to do, so maybe I'm just thinking as somebody that maybe is using it for the first time and maybe a little hesitant. Well, is that something that, was overcome, once you put Adobe Express in front of them and they saw how easy it was?
Yeah, well, basically, I don't think so. Currently, we have got millions of accounts being created in Adobe Express, and I think probably Adobe Spark. And yeah, and in England itself. So my role's been sort of like, yeah, saying, look, you've already kind of signed up. And I think the sign up at the time was sort of top down. So you needed the IT guy to do it. Probably during lockdown, he was really like, you know, and I said, yeah, so it was top down and he spread it all out. And then what happened in my experience in schools was once once no one needed to use these tools anymore back in school, they're like, oh, what was Adobe Express or what, whatever tool. And so, yeah, my experience has been, yeah, people are like, oh, and Adobe Express, and I had some meetings with partners the other day, and they're like, oh, Adobe Express, I know Adobe, but yeah, so it's been a sort of a just raising awareness again, really, of yeah, the Adobe Express and all that it can be done, and just and me and my colleague Kevin, who's sort of the other half of me, he concentrates on sort of the technical side, which is still technical, getting the schools onboarded, the whole school all safely. Um, and yes, and we're talking about doing something called the art of possible. So to really sort of directing teachers, what's impossible in Adobe Express. And also, we want, and this is more Kevin, actually, it's challenge to Kevin. He's saying, I want students to say, sir or miss, we want to use Adobe Express because we use it to do this, we use it to create this. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're heading. And yeah, let me just pause a second because I had a thought on that, on the art of possible and the top down. Yeah, and also a really fab thing the other day. Now, have you come across the live lessons with Don and Meredith?
Oh my gosh, the live lessons are fantastic. That's something like that I look forward to when I can get to them because they do a fantastic job during doing those.
Yeah, and I was actually in a class when a live lesson happened. So me, Jennifer King, who's our lead, a couple of really the big sort of VIPs from the US were over. Therese and I want to say Katie were over, and we were in this class. And I've got to admit, it was a pretty privileged school. It was called St. Pyron's. It's a really nice school, but very privileged. They all had one-to-one devices. They all had like a MacBook studio. But we're in this live lesson, and Dom and Meredith had come on, and it was amazing to watch these yes, 6 digital leaders, all girls, just sort of getting involved with this lesson. It was to do with Guy Fawkes, and they're finding the way. And then I thought what was great was Dom kind of done his bit on the browser, and then it just then give him time while Meredith done the part on the Apple or the iPad device, and just watch them catch up. But then same as before, you got them, some of them deviating a bit, and instead of just using a background image, they're using the AI to create one. Yeah, it's really fabulous. And then the total highlight was Jet, and he's got on YouTube and said to Dom and Meredith, give St. Pyrons out, and it did. It come up on the screen. Shout out to St. Pyrons. It was really wonderful. And so, yeah, we've got some really purposeful. I mean, if you're a teacher and live lessons is out, be like, you know, you haven't got a plan or anything. Just get, go to a live lesson. It's so exciting. The kids really going to engage the kids. And then also within that, they've also created a few ebooks, and they are nation focused. We've got a Scotland one, an Ireland one, an England one, and 45 lessons. So I think those parts for me have been absolutely awesome.
Yeah. I think that is something that going back to that community, but it's just the thoughtfulness of really thinking, you know what, if teachers cannot be where I'm at, let me go and meet teachers where they are. And I think that the live lessons are fantastic. And like you said, listen, like this is something that maybe you might make a little bit of time during your day, because it would be worth it. To me, it's more, and I want to let teachers know again, this is just from my observation, my own experience, investing that bit of time in a live lesson can definitely save you a lot more time throughout the year, throughout your semester, throughout your quarter, because what the students will learn during that time, hands on, can easily be implemented within not only your subject matter, but other subjects as well. So it's definitely something that is worth signing up for, getting your students right in front of a wonderful expert, and the Adobe team is fantastic. And not only will they learn, but I promise you, you as a teacher are going to get those nuggets that you can sprinkle onto what you are already doing great. So Sean is definitely spot on as far as the life lessons are concerned, because they will definitely be a game changer. But again, I would suggest, like Sean said, if you don't have a plan for that day, or at least plan for that little time, I promise you it's worth the investment, or the return on instruction is definitely going to be high for sure.
Yeah, and do please, I reiterate that, do reach out to me, because I was even in the School of Academy show the other day, and there's a maths teacher, an English teacher, and they were saying how, they use Adobe across curriculum. So yeah, please do reach out for me, and I'm sure I actually might share some case studies with you, funds to share with the participants.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Anything that you can share, we'll definitely link it in the show notes, Sean, with your info and everything. That way, if any of our awesome UK listeners, and we do get a lot of UK listeners that are listening to the pod and want to connect with you, they can definitely do so and connect. So, Sean, as
Uh,
as we go on here through our conversation, I want to ask you. I know that obviously, we've got our winter break that is coming. We've got some winter activities. Anything that you can share that Adobe is doing as far as maybe like a 12 days of Christmas or little events or any creativity thing that's happening there in the UK? Anything that y'all got planned?
Oh, 100%. Well, can I just say it's really dark here. It's like we're um only 3:30 p.m. in the UK, but it's just really dark and cold. And yeah, so we started the 12 days of creativity, and I had a really fun, and also with our partners, Magic School, and I had really fun, Magic School AI, sorry, really fun last night with Amber Trout from their community team, and we're doing a few different demos, and yeah, and my bandwidth was dying, when you're trying to demo, and I've clicked on the snowman image in someone's doc, and it opened up the ugly sweater. It's a dog, and I was like, right, I was planning to do a talking snowman. I'm just gonna have to go with the talking dog now. And boy, did it come out like an ugly sweater. And I just used the anime character. I used the right within I generated the image, and right within the image, I just clicked audio, and then you can click animate character, and I just put some transparent background and some lips on it, and yeah, and I had a talking dog. But yeah, so then no, it's official. The 12 days of creativity was launched on the 24th of November, so it's already started. But obviously, I know over there in the US, a lot of you on Thanksgiving this week.
Mhm.
Does it fall on Thursday?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did a really thoughtful post, and I tried to sort of thank some folk in it because I knew it'd be Thanksgiving, but I also wanted to try and sort of make it more inclusive and just say, whatever you're doing, happy Christmas. I hope you have a great new year, really. And yeah, so that's been really exciting. And my first time actually doing it. And I did hear last year it was, it's just really, really successful and really fun, and yeah, and tons of people got involved. And within there, and this, I know me and you have been around in the EdTech scene for a while, Fonz. And do you remember the one word with sort of
Yeah.
and yeah, we used to create the one word.
Mm.
What did we used to? Was it within Adobe you created it, and then you stuck it on Wakelet? I can't quite remember that. I just remember that one word, or flip even.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
and I
I would use
spot.
I would always do my one word back in the day, like, it was, like, Spark, and then, of course, once, Adobe Express came out, I would just do my one word there, and then, obviously, we would upload it. I know many people had various platforms that you can upload, and I think that that's something that is great too, that, as far as going back to community, just amplifying creativity and finding tools where even us as adults can create, and I said, going back to, like, that inner child, I guess, where maybe I was never good at drawing, but Adobe Express gives me an opportunity to at least bring my creation to life. And yes, maybe I didn't hand draw it, but it's something that came from my thought process, and I think that that's one thing that I love. But anyway, going back to the one word and doing those things, I think that that's something that's huge, with community, that people will always participate. And I love that the team also will always showcase and share and retweet and reshare and everything. And they're just so full of gratitude because they are really teacher focused. And I think that's something that is fantastic that I love. And, just connecting with other like minded educators to be able to do those things. So I love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, definitely global. I mean, I can think of some amazing people over there. Tanya
Yeah.
Gonzalez, and well, Claudia, and there's some really incredible Nikki. Oh, Nikki. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember her second name now. You've definitely interviewed Nikki from over there in the US, but yeah, oh,
I can't. Yeah, I'm trying to think, Nikki. I know it sounds
y-
familiar, and I was like, it's on the tip of my
yeah,
tongue, but I can't remember the last name.
but yeah, it's a rip. And Mel, Mel over in
Oh yes,
yeah,
Mel.
yeah, she's incredible. Yeah,
She's
and connect with
fantastic.
her again. And she's like, "When are you coming to Africa?" Yeah. So yeah, there's we're planning to we've sort of got a leader in Europe now, and so yeah, who knows where that goes? Yeah, we're hoping a bit more, bring draw people in, but yeah, tons of things going on,
Yeah, and that's
tons of ways
fantastic.
to get involved. And I think for me, again, just getting back with those partners. So I did a weight clear webinar, and that shared community. It was fab. I put on my old weight clip
Yeah.
ambassador t-shirt, my ace badge, and just sharing my tool within their tool was just so excited. And I've also done with book creator. That was really fun with Farmer Forbes and we were creating live, live on the fly in the show, creating a book based on Alyssa coming to the UK. She had like a retreat at book creator
Mhm.
here in Bristol, and I met her and her colleague Jenny at the National Portrait Gallery in London in Trafalgar Square. And we were going, what are we going to do for this webinar? And I started telling them about this book, Katie Goes to London, and by James Mayhew. And James Mayhew, I think, don't quote too much. And yeah, the lions in Trafalgar Square. Can you picture those? The lions in Trafalgar Square, the huge lion statues. And
Yes.
yeah, one of the stories is she just jumps on this lion and they go on an adventure. So you're like, right, that's it. Yeah, we just went on a live adventure in Book Creator and Adobe just during the session. And of course, those two are so exciting. They're real global collaborators. They're real got a heart for students. I mean, that Yee-Haw or that Alyssa or his
Yes.
friends is, and there's so many of us out there, isn't there, that, have this heart for just wanting to not only encourage teachers, but also give. So then, and Alyssa always says this, and I'm going to quote her a bit. She always says, I love it, Sean, because you'll sort of enable teachers to give students a Yee-Haw movement. And I think, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
my mission. Yeah. Because it used to be
Yes.
just to get teachers to use tech, but actually, in my experience, that can be difficult at times. But if I could just have the odd breakthrough that then will give the students a year moments or
Yeah.
those creative moments, those moments where their imagination shines, where they share their voice. Yeah, I'm here for that. That's for sure.
I love it. I love it. But you know what, Sean? Also, you're not just creating yeehaw moments for educators, but I mean, through your work and partnerships. I mean, take, for example, the team, sitting there and they're building their trainers or creating their trainers. Those are yeehaw moments there too, as well. And so not only are you able to work, with teachers and students within classrooms doing that, but also outside the classrooms and still amplifying creativity. So that is something that I love that you get to do. You're in both worlds and you're just creating amazing moments and amplifying, people's creativity in every way, shape, or form. So that's fantastic, Sean. So thank you for the work that you're doing, my friend. I really appreciate it. And again, being able to grow the team and being here on the show too as well. And finally connecting and having a great conversation and just hearing the excitement in your voice and hearing all about the great and wonderful things that you're doing in the UK is something fantastic. So for our UK audience that's listening, please make sure you connect with Sean because high energy. He will make sure and connect with you. He will make sure
Yeah.
that you get to use Adobe Express and that you can continue to have those farmer fob yeehaw moments for sure.
Yeah. Hashtag fun with us. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Sean, how might our listeners, and I know we're going to link that in the show notes, but what would be the easiest way for our listeners that are in your area to be able to connect with you and maybe, just say like, hey, maybe we might be interested in an event or, or where might there be some events that maybe they might be able to attend? So, how would they be able to connect with you?
Yeah, we have a UK Express link, so it's got all the things on there: the live lessons, the how to become an ACE leader, how as our resources, the ebooks, the UK ebooks. So, we're definitely sharing that. Um, Personally, I think the quickest place to connect with me would be on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there, and yeah, just connect with me and message me out. And one of my strengths is just sort of connected and getting really back quickly with people. So yeah, that you'll find me easily there. And yeah, but I'll definitely be sharing all the resources. And yeah, we'd love you to, if you know, if you want to get to know Adobe Express, or particularly if you're using it, we'd just love to get you in to the community and see what you're doing and help you grow and help others grow. Yeah, we'd love that.
Excellent. Well, Sean, we will definitely make sure to link all that info. So please make sure you send me any links and at all that we can share, and then that way our wonderful UK community can connect with you and get those resources too as well. But thank you so much, Sean, for being here with me today on this wonderful morning for me and a very dark and cold afternoon for you in the UK. But thank you so much for just connecting and again, just really hearing about hearing your energy, your excitement, and all the wonderful things that are happening. I wish you and the rest of the team the best. And of course, as we go into the holiday season, I wish you a happy holidays, you and your family and yours. And thank you all. And for our listeners here, thank you so much as always. But wait, I forgot. And Sean, I forgot to send you those last three questions. However, it's a little speed
Wow.
round question. So I don't know if you do watch the show, but here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here because I forgot to send those in, but here we go. So as we know,
All right.
every superhero has a pain point and a weakness. So for Superman, that kryptonite was something that weakened him and was a pain point. So I want to ask you, Sean, maybe in the current state of education, what would you say would be your current edu kryptonite?
Mm. Education is really a difficult place at the moment, I think. And just seeing all, the pressures, teachers are under in the UK, and I'd studied it actually in my studies, and it's really economy driven. And I think sort of my pain point is there's so many people out there with such good intentions to, want to just shape education for the better for the students, to change the system. But yeah, I think it's a real kryptonite. It's just so, you know, it's such the norm. It's just going to be so hard to even chip a little bit off it. So I think it's a really on the bigger scale. I think for me that changing education, and I think so. Yeah, that for me.
There you go. Good answer. Good answer. All right. Question number two. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Billboard. Oh my goodness. Oh, um, well, I'm just gonna go for I'm the father. And only the reason being is because I just thought of my 6-year-old, now 6-year-old little girl the other day. And I've for Father's Day, she bought me the Darth Vader t-shirt with a something, yeah, to give my family, and yeah, thanks for sort of wishing us a happy holidays, but just to give my wonderful family, my wife and my daughter a shout out. I think, yeah, I just get when I haven't got a t-shirt and I'm the father, I just, yeah, have
I
my
love it.
billboard with my family. I'm the father.
I love it. I love it. Great, great answer. All right. And the last question is if you could trade places with one person for a day, who would that be and why?
Oh, crumbs. I think I'm going to say euphons, and I'm going to say, yeah, like, yeah, your experience and all the things you've seen and your knowledge and yeah, yeah, it'd be a bit of a busman's holiday, I think, because I think we're kindred spirits. But yeah, you've definitely all the conversations you had, I know you based your doctorate on all the different conversations. I think and I think I'd like to go and yeah, it'd be a busman's holiday because we've got the same similar spirit. But yeah, I'll just get a ton more knowledge, say.
There you go. Well, thank you so
And
much.
yeah, no, just on that, yeah, I wanted to mention that, yeah, and I think because my research was qualitative as well when I was doing research on AI, and it was just so helpful just having these conversations and learning from others through conversations. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think that that's something that's great that I feel that you and I have in the sense that we just love storytelling and we just love to listen to other people, and I think that's why, I've done this show for the longest time because there's just something so great to be able to listen to somebody's experience, and it just went naturally with my research on the qualitative study aspect of it, to be able to do the dissertation on that. So yeah, but I think that that's why I think you and I would get along so well, and we would have countless hours of conversation that
yeah,
would be nonstop. So hopefully one day, my dear friend, we get to meet in real life, and we can definitely have those conversations too as well. And that way we can just share some great stories and great experiences with one another. So Sean, thank you so much again for being an amazing guest,
no
just
worries.
an amazing person. And again, continued success on the amazing work that you're doing in the UK with the rest of the team. I wish you all the best. And again, to our audience members, thank you as always for all of your support. As you know, and if you notice here, I mean, this is just genuine conversation that we would just love to always bring out week in and week out to every single one of you so you can get to know these amazing and wonderful educators that are out there that are helping, that want what's best for teachers, want what's best for students, and overall have a great heart, just like Sean and the rest of all our episodes that we've had. So please make sure you visit our website at myedtech.life, where you can check out this amazing episode and the other 345 episodes that I promise you, you'll find some little knowledge nuggets there that you can take from and sprinkle to what you are already doing great. And again, all of this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So a big shout out to Book Creator, Eduate, Yellow Dig, and Peelback Education. Thank you so much for all of your support. And until next time, my friends, don't forget, stay techie.